Hey guys, welcome to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we are going to have a look at group functions. Earlier, we have seen single row functions. We know that single row functions mean that they act on a row. So if you pass n rows to the single row function, then the output will be n rows. In group functions, your data is divided into various groups, and for every group, you will get one row as an output. So we are going to get started with very simple usage of group functions. Here your entire data set is going to be considered as a single group and you are going to get only one output. Okay. So in the next lecture, we are going to see how we can divide our data into multiple groups and how we can get one row per group in the output data set. But here in this video lecture, we are just going to consider the entire data set as a single group, and then we are going to apply the group function and we are going to get only a single row as the output. So let us see. We are just going to use Sakila database. I'm going to say select star from staff. So this is what we have in the staff table. Okay. Now we are going to say, so I'm just going to copy this statement. And here I'm going to use our very first group function average. It's AVG of address ID. Okay. So it is going to compute the average of address IDs. So here we have 3 and 4. So the average will be 3.5. Yes. So the average of address ID is 3.5. So similarly, we are going to have a look at other functions. So there are basically 6 functions in this category. So max, and we have min. We also have sum. It is going to compute the summation. And then we have a couple of statistical functions, std, dev, which is nothing but standard deviation, and finally we have variance, variance. Okay, so all the 6 are group functions, and we also have another group function known as count. So we are going to see it later in the same video lecture, but let us execute rest of these select statements one by one. So this is the output. This is the maximum value of the address ID from all the address IDs. This is the minimum value. Then we also have the summation, which should be 7. I deliberately chose a table with very less number of records so that we can verify it ourselves by calculating it in our head. So similarly, we can compute the standard deviation and variance. These are the all statistical functions as group functions. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how the null is handled in group functions. So here we have average. Okay. So earlier we were taking off average of address ID, and address ID did not have any sort of null value. But the field postal code seems to have null value. Okay. So let's actually execute this query, select star from staff. Okay. So it should be in addresses. Okay. ADDRESSES or address. So first of all, I'm just going to select everything from address, select star from address, and if I execute it, so here we have the list of all the addresses, and here we have postal codes, and the few values in that postal code field may be null. So here I'm just going to compute the average of postal code without handling the null first. Then let us see what happens. So it is 49889. Remember that. And I'm just going to copy this and gonna say average of null if comma 0. So if I execute this, this is the output 50222. Okay, so in the first case, it does not count the null values, and here it counts the null values because we are saying null if 0. Okay, so this is how we can work with null values whenever we are working with group functions. And finally, we are going to see the function that was mentioned earlier, that is count. Select count of star from ADDRESS, and if I execute it, it shows me the number of records in address table. So now if I want to individually count the values in postal code, I can just do that like this. Okay, it is 603. Same as count of star from address, I guess. What was the earlier value? Yeah. And I can also count the distinct postal codes. So distinct is another keyword. So distinct tells us how many distinct values are there in that particular column. Or let me capitalize it. So if I execute this, this is the output. So there are 597 distinct values in postal code. So this is how it works. So let us have a small review of this entire video lecture. So I told you that we are going to get started with group functions. And group functions are the functions that categorize the data into various groups and they output one row per group. But here we are just going to consider the entire data set or all the records in the table as a single group, and we are going to have only one row in the output, and that is the simplest form of group functions. So we are going to understand how to use group functions for multiple groups in the next video lecture. So we saw all the statistical functions, that is average, maximum, minimum, summation, standard deviation and variance. And then we saw how we can work with null and group functions. And finally, we saw how we can use the count group function. So thanks a lot for watching this video lecture. Do let me know if you have any question, query or comment about this video lecture. Thanks a lot once again, and I will see you next time. Hey guys, welcome to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we are going to see the usage of group by clause. So earlier we have seen the group functions. In the group functions, we divide the entire data sets into various groups, and for every group, we have a single row as an output. So in the last lecture, we saw how to consider the entire table as a single data set or a group, and then we had only one row as an output. Here in this video lecture, we are going to see how to divide it into multiple groups with group by. So now I have already written and tested all the queries that we are going to use in this video lecture. So we really should not spend a lot of time in writing the queries. So don't worry about the queries. All these queries are available as downloadable PDFs with this video lecture. So select star from film is going to select all the records from the table film. Now if I say select sum of rental rate from film, it is going to show us the summation of all the rental rates. So the total is 2980, probably in United States dollars. So now if I just say select star from film where rental duration equals to 3, then it is going to choose all the records where rental duration is 3. And when I say sum of rental rate, so it is just give me the summation of the rental rate where rental duration is 3. So if I execute this, the output is 574.97. And if I say select sum of rental rate from film group by rental duration, so our entire data set will be divided into the various groups according to the rental duration and it is going to compute the summation of rental rates according to the criteria of rental duration. So for a distinct rental duration, we are going to have one group. So let's execute this and see the output. Okay. So this data doesn't make much sense. That's why we need to include rental duration in the select statement. And now if I execute this, it will make sense for us. So now if the rental duration is 6, then summation of rental rates of all the films where rental duration is 6 is $613.88. And wherever rental duration is 3, the summation for all the records is $574.97 and so on. So in the similar way, we can calculate the average, and we can even calculate the mean and max and all the other statistical functions that we have seen earlier. So this is the minimum, and if I execute this, this is the output. So it seems that the minimum rental rate in all the films where rental duration is 63754 is 0.99. Now we can even add more columns to the select statement, and all those columns should be there in the group by. So whatever columns we are using in the select statement, they must be there in the group by. So this is the standard form of group by queries. So if there are n number of columns, the same number of columns as well as the same column should be in the group by statement for the correctness of the query. So if I execute something like this, then it divides the entire data sets into the groups according to the rental duration and replacement cost. So for every combination of rental duration and replacement cost, it is going to calculate the summation of rental rate. Okay. So here rental duration 6 appears twice because the combination 6 and 22.99 and 6 and 20.99 is there. Okay. So there might be more occurrences of 6 here. Right. There are more occurrences of 6. So here the combination is rental duration and replacement cost for grouping the data. So earlier it was only rental duration. So similarly, you can order the data using the order by clause. So if I execute this, this is the ordered data, and ordering is by rental duration. Now, I had told you earlier that we need to have the same columns, whatever we are using in the select statement, wherever we are going to use this group functions in the group by clause. But this is one of the non-standard implementations of group by, and you can find the details of these at this particular page. So I'm just going to copy this link and show you. So this is the one of the non-standard implementation of group by. Okay, so you will find the details about it. And see, here we don't have any group by, but we still have a column in the select, and the query will not fail. It will not return any error, but the output will not be what we want. Okay, because we haven't said group by. So now if I just add group by to this, let's say rental duration, and here I am adding replacement cost, still the query will execute. Again, this is one of the non-standard implementation because we don't have the same columns in the select and group by. Here we lag one column, that is replacement cost. Now if you want logically correct output, then you need to include rental duration as well as replacement cost in the group by clause. So if I execute this, this is the output and this is the logically correct output. So this is how we can use group by clause, which is used to divide the data into various groups according to the values that are stored in the column. And for every group, we are going to have one output. So the same way we can use the group functions, and we have seen that we need to have same number of columns in the select and the group by clause for our result to be correct logically. So thanks a lot for watching this video lecture. I know it is kind of a bit difficult to understand the concept of group by, because if you haven't worked with relational databases or SQL before, you will find it a bit difficult to understand it. So practice makes man perfect. You need to practice group queries, and once you practice, you will be able to write very good group by queries with group functions. So thanks a lot for watching this video lecture. Do let me know if you have any questions, queries, and comments. Thanks a lot once again, and I will see you next time. Hey guys, welcome to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we are going to see the usage of having clause. In the earlier video lecture, we saw the usage of group by clause. So earlier we have seen how we can filter out the rows with the where clause. But that is simply not possible whenever we are going to filter out the groups. So where clause works only with the rows, and having clause works with the groups as a filter. So let us see the example. So I'm going to say select star from file, film actually, okay. And if I execute this, it will show us all the records from the film. Now if I say select rental duration, comma sum of rental rate from film group by rental duration. So if I execute this, it is going to show me the groups by rental duration and summation of rental rates. So suppose if I want to filter out the stuff such that where sum of rental rate is greater than 800, then this query is going to fail because this query has error. Okay, you cannot use where clause for filtering out the groups. For that we need to use having clause. So always remember, in order to filter the rows, you need to use where. Okay, so in this query, if you want to filter out the rows, you can still use where. And if you want to filter out you have to use having. So I'm just going to execute this and going to show you the output. Okay, so we need to delete this extra space and it should work now. And this is the output because there is nothing which is greater than 800. So I'm going to lower this value a bit. I'm going to say 600 and let's execute this. And this is the output. So now let us try to use having and where in the same statement. And for that, I'm going to execute this. So let's say rental rate equals to 0.99. Where rental rate between 0.5 and 3.5. Okay, now this query has got both the clauses. It has got the where clause as well as having clause. So if I execute this, it is going to show me the output. Okay, so now I guess 600 is too much. So I'm just going to say 100 and it should actually definitely show me a few records. Okay, so here we can see that the rental rate is in between 0.5 and 3.5, and then it is creating the groups according to the rental duration, and then we are filtering out the group with the condition sum of rental rate is greater than 100. So if you see what records were filtered in this query, we can just write an opposite query of that. And okay, so I guess still, let's say 300, and we will be able to see a few records. Okay, so these are the records, and if I say greater than, then there will be few records. Okay, so I guess let us say 200. Yeah, so this way you can write various queries. Let's see one more example. Let's copy this. An average of rental rate is greater than, let's say 2. And if I execute this, it will show me a few records. So if I say average of rental rate is greater than 2, it will show me a few records like these. So this is how we can use having clause. So let me revise it once again. Where clause is used to filter out the rows. Having clause is used to filter out the groups. So thanks a lot for watching this video lecture. Do let me know if you have any question, queries or comments. Thanks a lot once again, and I will see you next time.